Hi you guys, today we have a super special guest and I'm going to roll into the video very quickly, but I just am filming this little intro and I'll do an outro as well, just to give a little bit more context about what we're going to be covering in today's video and how you can watch it because it is a long one. So today I'm talking with skincare expert and holistic esthetician Megan Niño. She is local to me in San Francisco and she has a beautiful facial practice called Sacred Facials. I'm going to link everything down in the description box below so you guys can kind of check out what we're talking about, all of that. But the description box is going to be kind of your guide for this video. I'll put time markers for each question that we cover. You guys submitted a lot of questions that we talked about today. So stuff about like acne, dry skin, how to prevent fine lines and wrinkles. All of that we talk about today, but if you want a specific question, then go ahead and check the timestamps in the description box. Otherwise, just enjoy the video. There's not going to be a ton of visuals. It's just us talking for most of it and then actually showing a treatment at the very end, which I'm super excited about. So you can either just listen and don't worry about watching, and it's kind of like a podcast, or you can actually watch the whole thing and be a part of the conversation. So with that being said, I'm going to let the video roll in and I will see you guys in a little bit to talk about the treatment. Okay, I'll see you guys soon. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I am beyond excited today because I'm not alone. We have a very, very special guest, Megan Niño of Sacred Facials in San Francisco. One of you guys actually introduced me to her through Instagram, which I am forever grateful for because she is absolutely gorgeous and a wealth of knowledge. I'm just so happy to be here today talking with you about skincare and answering all of your guys' questions. So thank you to everyone who submitted questions in for Megan to answer. There's a ton of them, so I kind of sorted through and I made sure to pick the ones that were most frequently asked, and that's what we'll be covering today. And then we're actually also going to do a little treatment, which I am very excited for. Yeah. But Megan, I'd love for you to kind of introduce yourself and talk a little bit about how you got into skincare. And I know you were a makeup artist, so that also sounds very interesting to me. But yeah, let's kind of dive into you and your background.
So my name is Megan Niño. I am a holistic esthetician based here in San Francisco, and I was born in the wild west of Las Vegas, Nevada. Let's see, I graduated high school with honors, and I spent 1 year in college at the University of Utah studying art history. When I was in my 20s, I was a free spirit. I was floating, you know, I moved a lot. I didn't really have a solid idea of what I wanted out of life. But when I was in college, I got into fashion design and moved to Hollywood, and then New York City, and then back to LA. And I studied makeup and makeup designery and worked as an eco makeup artist for 7 years. And I've had the pleasure of working bi-coastal, so in New York and LA.
Very cool. And, how did you discover eco makeup? Like, how did that become your niche, I guess, in the market?
Yeah, so it was around 2010, and I was researching beauty trends, and I came across a blog which wrote about clean beauty, and I was intrigued. And so as I read more, I was shocked at the amount of chemicals that we're exposed to on a daily basis. From there, my passion to know more was fueled. And so I went to the library and I read every book I could possibly find on this topic. And some of those books include Body Toxic, The Green Beauty Guide, and No More Dirty Looks.
I'll be linking all of those down below, you guys, so if you want to check them out, you can. But that all sounds amazing. Very cool. So then how did you get from makeup artistry into skincare?
So it was around 2012, 2013 when I serendipitously met Jason and Colleen Walkup. Jason is the founder of mindbodygreen.com. And they invited me to do eco makeup for their speakers at their very first retreat in Arizona. And it was a life-changing experience, to say the least. I met so many of today's biggest thought leaders in health and wellness, and that also catapulted my makeup career into skincare, specifically clean and organic skincare. Back to LA, and I also wrote beauty reviews and articles for various sites during this time. From there, I decided that I didn't really have the knowledge that I needed to write the articles that I was writing about, and there were so many people asking me questions about skincare, and I just didn't have any answers for them. So I put myself through aesthetics night school, and I worked full-time as a makeup artist during the day, and then I was a full-time student at night.
Oh my goodness, that's a lot.
It was a lot, but I dedicated myself to it. I just fell in love with the art of skincare. and I passed with flying colors.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so incredible.
I graduated in 2013, and I went to Cerritos College, which is like a junior college, but they have an amazing aesthetics program for you guys that are interested in knowing where I went to college. That was Cerritos College in Los Angeles. And it was cool because after I graduated, I was awarded an alumni plaque of excellence. And for me, that was like a really big deal.
That's a huge deal. That's amazing.
Yeah, they were sweet. They did like a whole write-up and everything.
Oh man, that's wonderful. So you did New York, and then New York to LA, and then LA to San Francisco.
Yes.
So how did LA to San Francisco happen?
Well, I had thought just a couple of years ago, I was sort of manifesting that I wanted to live in San Francisco, and that was around the time that I met my husband now, Leo, and we met on a photo shoot. I was doing makeup on the photo shoot.
Very cool.
And he said, hey, I'm going to go to art school in San Francisco, and I was like, well, you know, we were developing a relationship at that point, you know, friendship relationship. And so I said, you know, I've always wanted to move to San Francisco, and I just made the jump.
Wow. Yeah. That's incredible. I feel like as a young person, for me, it's like whenever you have to make a move like that, I feel like I always overthink it. So I totally give you so much credit for just like being willing to try something and just like say, this is something I'm interested in, let me see what happens and all of that, because I can imagine that's really scary.
It was scary.
Did you know anyone in San Francisco when you moved here? Wow! Oh my goodness! Yeah. Obviously,
it was the right
working out. Yeah,
perfect jump.
Yeah. So after you came to San Francisco, that's when you worked for Laurel Skin.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was the in-house holistic esthetician for Laurel Skin for 2 years and a few months, and it was in August of 2017 that I decided to go and start my own business called Sacred Facials.
Which is where we are today. We are in the Sacred Facials room, which is, the space is absolutely gorgeous. It's like a tranquil little oasis. Jared and I both walked in. He's filming, by the way, in case I didn't say that, so if I'm looking over there, that's why. But we walked in, and it's like such a nice space. It's absolutely beautiful and feels so peaceful. You guys have to come and check it out. Again, everything will be in the description box below so you can see where this is all located and such, but I guess that's kind of like a pretty good overview of like where you are now, and I feel like we have so many questions to get to, so it's probably good that we shift focus into your guys' questions.
Does that
sound good? Okay, cool. Let's get started. Okay, so now we're going to be diving into all of your questions, which you guys so kindly sent in. It's very exciting. There were a ton of them. Like I said at the start of this video, I tried to kind of send the most popular ones Megan's way so she could kind of preview them beforehand, and we came up with, I feel like, a really good list of questions that kind of covers everything you guys asked. And so so we're just going to go through them. I have them here on my phone, so I will be kind of referring to them as we go. But I think probably the most popular question, and I certainly relate to this, is how do you deal with acne? Because it is like an awful thing that I feel like so many people go through, so you should never feel embarrassed or like, you know, ashamed or whatever, because I feel like it kind of plagues everyone. But yeah, so like how do we manage it? What are some like triggers? That kind of stuff.
Acne is one of the hardest things for me to treat because everyone's acne needs are different. I understand why there are specialists in this field of skincare. Acne is an inflammatory response, mostly triggered from the inside, relating to diet, gut health, like you need a healthy microbiome, lifestyle, stress, hormones. There are many hormones throughout the body, but there are specific male sex hormones called androgens, and they cause the acne that we know best, which is around the chin, the jawline, the mouth, sometimes even the upper back. Okay, so along the lines of acne, there's a lot of questions about hormonal breakouts, and I can especially relate right now because I just had my period, so I'm like recovering from hormonal breakouts, which is a little frustrating, but like how, again, I'm sure this relates to what you were saying. It's like a lot about diet and managing and balancing your hormones, but are there any tips and tricks that you have specifically for hormonal breakouts? Honestly, like I work in an acupuncture space. This is Nest Acupuncture where we're at right now, and these lovely women acupuncturists, they specialize in women's fertility and hormone balance. And so acupuncture is one of the most beautiful ways to get your body rebalanced. And some people are afraid of the needles, but they're actually just so hair fine, and they target certain points. Kind of someone who's kind of freaked out by the needles. I had it done once, and I had it like on my hands and arms.
I remember my hands falling asleep and not being sure if I could like move them or what happened. So it was kind of an uncomfortable experience. But I know so many people who swear by acupuncture and say that you can do it to balance hormones, but it's also great for stress levels, right? And there's like different things that you can kind of target to...
Well, ideally you want to find somebody who really knows what they're doing.
Right.
And they have the schooling and the skills to be able to know which points are going to help balance the best. But essentially what the acupuncture does is it opens up that chi life force energy, it rebalances, and then it helps bring that flow and vitality back to the areas of the body that they need to go to. You know, acupuncture can sometimes be expensive, and if your insurance doesn't cover acupuncture, check out a community acupuncture. Just make sure that you do your research first. Make sure that you're Yelping, you know, and find somebody who's really good that has been doing it for a long time. Because I've seen experts and doctors who are absolutely fantastic, and then I've also seen people who are just less skilled and I don't have the same results.
So the next question that we got, this like take 3 for me on this question. The next question that we got is, what is the difference between a regular esthetician and a holistic esthetician?
I get this question a lot, actually, specifically from people who are aspiring to be an esthetician or someone who's transitioning from a regular or medical esthetician to a holistic esthetician. The only difference is the decision to be eco-organic and cruelty-free, and also more connected with the mind, body, and soul. Holistic is a health and wellness approach to skincare. My continuing education is different than a traditional esthetician. I specialize in gua sha, facial massage, and neck and face manual lymph drainage. My treatment room products are completely eco-friendly. They're farm-to-face, organic, sustainable, as well as effective. There's just a few other differences. So I don't use any harsh or inflammatory ingredients in the facial that would force the skin or harm the skin's healthy barrier. This is very, very important because there is a definite boundary between the products that people use. There's a lot of harsh and inflammatory products on the market, and as a holistic esthetician, these are just things that we don't believe in using.
Oh, very interesting. Okay, is there any particular like ingredient or like something that people could look out for in a product that you feel like would trigger that inflammatory response that you decide not to use?
That's a very good question. There's a lot. So many. The market is completely saturated, so it would be impossible for me to say which specific ones. The only thing that works for me is the line that I work with. But the modalities too that we use are different. Like I use gemstones and the gua sha, and I use a little bit of sound healing, and then I also use hot towels instead of steam.
Oh, interesting. So what's the choice with that? Because I've only ever had steam during a facial, but I have heard really conflicting things about steam.
Well, it's invasive. It's always coming towards your face, and it never seems to really touch the middle of the face completely. It's always either on one side or the other, or there's just too much steam. So yes, hot towels are it's a slow beauty ritual is what it is.
That makes total sense.
I should point out too that the holistic realm is becoming very trendy, and I urge estheticians to create uniqueness in the treatment room. Offering the same things as everyone else creates monotony, so get creative.
I think that's really good advice, and I think something when I was looking into your practice and the reviews that you've had, I feel like everyone always says that Megan really creates an experience here, that it's much more than a facial. It's like you leave feeling like you've had a very like personal experience that you kind of take with you throughout your day. So clearly you've really made that unique space here for people to enjoy. It's pretty incredible.
Yeah, it is a special experience. I would say, you know, I definitely connect with my clients on that mind, body, soul level, and I just make sure to let them know to connect with themselves as well, because our lifestyle is, especially here in San Francisco, it's very busy and hectic, and we take on the energy of the outside world, and sometimes we're not focusing on our internal world, and so I want to bring that into the space. I hold the space for them. Okay, so next to all of the acne questions, the second most asked question was, what is your skincare routine? So what do you actually do on a daily basis? Yeah, this is another question that I get a lot, and there's a great quote that I love from Yvonne Chouinard of Patagonia, and it says, "The more you know, the less you need." And that is very much applicable to how my skincare routine is. It's just pretty much four steps, and then I do my masking and exfoliating 2 to 3 times a week. And so my skin type is dry sensitive. I cleanse with a L'Oreal Normal to Mature cleanser with some water, and then I use a hot towel, steaming, wet, and then I press it into the skin, wipe it all away. And then after I pat my skin dry, I use the L'Oreal Normal to Mature elixir, and I shake that, and I do 7 pumps of that. And then immediately after the elixir, I apply 5 drops of the antioxidant serum and a pea size of the healing balm or transform daily balm. And I spread that from the inside of my face around and down the neck.
I feel like having a shorter, like more condensed routine is kind of counter to what the market makes you think that you need. Like it feels like you need like 14, 15 products just to get through, you know, your skincare routine these days. But it's really nice to hear that simple is actually better. Next question was, can you mix skincare products from multiple brands, or is it best to stick with one?
You know, the market is very much saturated right now with products, and there are a lot of conflicting articles out there, and there's so much usage of different products, and mixing those different companies and chemicals on your face creates chemical reactions. It makes the skin more sensitive. So I would say definitely don't use a hodgepodge of skincare, because that is not an effective skincare routine.
Interesting. Yeah. That's very interesting, because you would think that you could kind of mix them, but now that I'm like actually thinking about it, you know, skincare developers probably make their range to be like all together, to be used together and to be enhanced by each product, or they should at least. So it does make sense that you should kind of stick to one brand.
Yes.
Very interesting. I never knew that before.
Maybe 2.
Maybe 2.
But yeah, in my treatment room it's 1. Another tip that you want to look for is efficacy and purity in the product. So when you're buying your skincare products, look for organic, fair trade, local, handmade. It's always higher vibration. And what that means is that it's fresher.
Interesting.
It's more vital.
And then how long until you know, obviously if you get an immediate reaction, you should stop using the product. How long until you know that a skincare product or line is working for you?
Great question. 4 to 6 weeks.
So it does take a little bit longer.
There's an adjustment period for the skin. I'd say anywhere from 2 to 4 weeks, but really use the skincare line for about 4 to 6 weeks.
So the next question is, how can we prevent fine lines and wrinkles?
Lifestyle and exercise are the 2 main ways that we can prevent fine lines and wrinkles. Obviously, exercise is a huge part of health and wellness, and exercise tones the muscles and the skin. Also, by not smoking and not drinking too heavily, you can prevent free radical damage and oxidative stress. The sun is also a huge ager. Anytime you get a sunburn, that's causing immediate skin damage and can lead to skin cancer down the line. So I always tell people, please use an Eco SPF 50. Make sure it's broad spectrum, because there's UVA and UVB rays. And you know, the sun also, it creates those brown spots, the melasma, which is so hard to get rid of.
I know, I was gonna say, so fun, yeah. Is there any sunscreen brands that come to mind for you? Like, is there one that you use every day that you really love?
Yeah, let's see. So Suntegrity is awesome.
I love them
They're
too.
clean, yes. Q+A.
Okay, I've heard of them.
Josh Rosebrook has a great one too.
Oh yeah, the like, it's a moisturizer and a sunscreen, is that what it is? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I'd say for like if you're going out hiking or you need something with heavier coverage if you're at the beach, clothes and hats are a great way if you don't like the feel of sunscreen. Also, check out your local co-op or health food store, and they should have some pretty clean options.
The next question is like a big topic that people have a lot of different opinions on, I guess I would say, especially in the more like natural, holistic realm of skincare products. So how do you feel about essential oils and products?
Well, the line that I work with is created by a formulator and herbalist who has extensive knowledge on essential oils. So obviously what she's mixing together is, her name is Laurel Schaefer, by the way, of Laurel Skin. And it's one of the most beautiful skincare lines I've ever used in my life. And she knows her stuff. And I think if you're making stuff at home for yourself, like your own skincare, you just have to be really careful with the concentration amount. Make sure that you're using carrier oils or put it in a diffuser just so that you can get the benefits. And then also another thing too is organic is always superior. Synthetic essential oils on the market, they're all over the place. Synthetic, so bad for your body, your organs, and it actually creates hormonal imbalance.
Because you know, the green beauty market is becoming very saturated right now. It is really hard as a consumer to kind of distinguish between quality brands and brands that are just kind of latching onto the term.
Exactly.
And so I find myself, like, I'm still learning so much, which is in part why I'm so happy to be here with you. But I find myself kind of slipping up and finding brands that I think are so great, and then I do a little bit more research, and unfortunately they're not. And I think essential oils especially, it's kind of like a really important part of a product to pay attention to, because like you're saying, you want to make sure that the people who are formulating the products have the best intentions and are using really high quality ingredients, because otherwise it's, you know, they can go like rancid. And,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's kind of gross.
They're medicinal extracts, so they're very powerful, and you have to be cautious when you're using them. And like you said, if the oil goes rancid, then you're putting free radicals on your face.
Yeah, which we don't want to do.
We don't want that.
No, we definitely don't. Okay, the other question was, how do you feel about vitamin A and chemical exfoliators?
Vitamin A, or retinol A, is actually prescribed like candy. It's a synthetic form of vitamin A, and it's created in a lab if you're getting it from a dermatologist's office. This is the most common kind. And so it's in a tube, and it comes in like 0.5 or 1%, and it's very strong. And it forces the skin to turn over faster, and so that you're getting peeling and flaking. And I just, as a holistic esthetician, that's just not what I would recommend for anyone. Now, the line that I use has natural vitamin A in it. It has all of the vitamins and minerals that your skin needs. So yeah, I'm very much against retin A.
Interesting. Yeah, because when I was going to see a dermatologist, and I feel like growing up, retin A was really just thrown around as like the solve, like it solves everything. And every skin type can use it and all of that. But I found when I tried to use it, my face was like a total wreck. Like, I did get all that peeling. It was really irritated, super sensitive to everything. And it was really disappointing, because you think it's going to be this cure-all, and of course it's not. And also, I just felt like I did so much more damage. Like, then trying to balance out my skin afterwards was really difficult. And then what about chemical exfoliators besides retin A? So, like, you know, there's peels out there that you can get, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think peels can be very dangerous. So it's important to realize that some peels, especially how strong they are, they can actually cause inflammation and damage to the skin. And what we're trying to do as a holistic approach is bring down the inflammation and help to balance the skin's barrier and keep that microbiome intact. What peels do is they strip all of that away, and then, you know, you can penetrate the product deeper. If you are a person who is all about peels, then I suggest visiting someone who is a medical esthetician who really knows their stuff, who's been doing it for a long time, because there's different types of acids that are appropriate for different skin types, and not one size fits all. So just be really careful and do some research on that. But in my treatment room, I don't do that. I use enzyme exfoliators. So enzymes, they're really gentle on the skin, appropriate for all skin types. They eat away the dead skin cells, and they create brightening and glowing naturally in a healthy way. It encourages the skin instead of stripping it and trying to put something inside of it.
No, that sounds a lot nicer to our skin. Okay, next question. Do we really need a double cleanse? I'm a big fan of the double cleanse, just because I think it's really fun. I use like kind of like a balm cleanser to take off all of my makeup, and then after that like a actual like cleanser. But I think it's kind of nice to have that two-step, but I'm obviously someone who wears makeup, so maybe, do you need it if you don't wear a lot of makeup?
If you wear no makeup at all, just one cleanse is sufficient. But if you do wear makeup, for instance, like I'm wearing a lot of makeup today, I would highly recommend doing a double cleanse, because the first cleanse, you need to remove the makeup, and then the second cleanse, you want to go in with your slow beauty cleanser and really take your time massaging it into the skin and the neck.
Does SPF count as makeup? So like if you're wearing SPF, should you be doing a double cleanse?
In some cases, yes, especially if it's zinc oxide. I would say you need something. So for instance, I use my mom's organic soap, and it's a very gentle oatmeal soap, and it has a foaming element to it. So when I'm using that, it's taking all the makeup and debris off of my skin, and then I'm replenishing my barrier and my microbiome with the Laurel Skin Cleanser.
Okay, so next question is, are there any product recommendations or ingredient recommendations for sensitive skin and rosacea?
So I personally grew up with extremely highly reactive, sensitive skin. I have allergies to absolutely everything.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. It's tough.
It was. especially growing up and not knowing like what triggers were going to happen. But for people with reactive skin or rosacea skin or even perioral dermatitis, because that's in the same family as rosacea, you would want to use a normal to mature cleanser and elixir from Laurel Skin, because that brings down the inflammation and helps to feed the healthy vitamins and nutrients to the skin. And then you can use a healing balm, which is super, super healing. Obviously, healing balm. It's gonna, it's got the right ingredients in it, so it's gonna feed the skin and hydrate it, and just keep that protective barrier there, so that you're not getting contamination or pollution, and all kinds of things that affect the skin. So the rosacea skin type is really difficult to treat, as it comes from within and has many triggers, including food, alcohol, and lifestyle.
I feel like it's important to kind of look at it with a holistic perspective and think about like different aspects of your life. So it would kind of be like working with a team, right, to try and like target those different areas and make sure to like reset, I guess.
Yeah, and there's really no easy quick fix, and that's what most people are looking for because they're desperate.
Yeah, of course.
And I completely understand. But it's a quest, it's a journey, it's a search.
Yeah, I feel like that's something that I've learned as I've gotten older. It's just, I feel like I always try and find the quick fix, but that's oftentimes it doesn't work. And then on the other hand, it's also like not the most beneficial or long-lasting fix. So I think it is really important to take that time and to pay attention, like when your skin's telling you something or something's a little bit off, to pay attention to it and actually do your research and realize that it's either something from within or something on the outside of your body that's kind of triggering that response.
Absolutely. A good friend of mine, her name is Nadia Newman. She's a holistic nutritionist, and she helps people get their skin back in order, specifically women who are dealing with adult acne.
Feel that?
Yeah. And so she helps them through diet and on a 6-week program, and within that 6 weeks, she's able to help you clear your skin.
That's so amazing. Is she
phenomenal?
Is she local?
She is.
Oh man. Okay. I might be asking you for contact information. That's really cool.
Is so knowledgeable and really knows her stuff. She's just been working with people for over a decade now.
Wow. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay, so second to last question. Tips for dermaplaning and jade rolling at home.
So in my treatment room, I don't actually do any dermaplaning.
Okay.
Because it's a very sharp blade, and it needs to be done by a really good professional who has done it a lot. And what it does is it removes the peach fuzz and the first dead skin layer. But you can do this at home with a guarded blade. There should be a whole video done on this because it's a big topic. And you want to use caution when you're using the guarded blade, but you want to use downward strokes, and when doing this, you want to do it on clean, dry skin. Okay. And then you obviously, if you have inflammation that's red or puffy, don't go over that area because you can cut yourself. And there's videos on YouTube that you can watch about it.
And then jade rolling. Do you have any tips and tricks? Because that's become a huge thing. All of a sudden, everyone's talking about jade rolling and gua sha and facial massage and stuff like that. But any tips or any things that kind of stand out to you that you see people doing wrong that you'd be like, that's a no-no, don't do that?
So this is my jade roller. The quality of the jade really makes a difference. And I think the reason why this is such a trendy tool is because it feels very nice on the skin. Just a few tips. You want to work from the inside of the face to the outside, right? You can also put this in the fridge and keep it nice and cool. This is great for people with rosacea or redder skin types, inflammation. You just roll right over the area, so you start at the top of the forehead and bring everything down. And you can also work up the neck all the way up to the forehead and then drain everything back down. The purpose of the jade roller is it is an anti-aging beauty tool. And like I said, the quality of the jade is important, but then also it stimulates blood flow. Now, the difference with a gua sha and a jade roller is that the gua sha works on a deeper level. So it works beneath the skin. It works with underneath the fascia, the superficial fascia. So it breaks that apart. It also creates the blood stimulation, but it drains the lymphatic system. And this is what creates that glowing skin. And it has to be used properly, otherwise you're not going to get the full benefits of it. And there's a whole plethora of information that I have on this beauty tool, but maybe another video for that.
Definitely. You guys make sure to let me know in the comments down below if you'd be interested in a video like that, because I know that I would be. And then one question about the jade rolling that I feel like I always see conflicting information is, So you move it outwards
Mm-hmm.
and kind of like upward strokes, but I see people like rolling it back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Should you only be going one direction, or can you roll it back and forth?
You know, intuitively, I would say you want to go in one direction.
Yeah.
But you can absolutely rub it back and forth
Mm-hmm.
for that blood stimulation.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're trying to achieve more of a drainage,
Yeah.
then you want to bring it to the edge and then drain down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Totally. That makes complete sense.
Okay.
Okay, so the last and final question, I just wanted to like ask this as a clarifying question, but is there really any difference between what you would recommend for men versus women when it comes to skincare?
Honestly, everything we've talked about is totally applicable for men as well.
Yeah, simple as that, you guys. That's awesome. Well, I want to say a massive thank you to Megan for answering all of these questions, and thank you to you guys for sending them in.
Yes.
If you guys have any follow-up questions, maybe leave them in the comments down below and I can send them to you, or like we can talk about them at a different point in time. But yeah, that was really incredible. I feel like I've learned so much, and I hope you guys have learned a lot too. And now we're moving on to the second very exciting part of this video, which is the treatment. So I'd love for you to talk a little bit about what we're going to do today and what I have to look forward to.
Our skin takes about 28 to 40 days, depending on how old we are, to turn over. So the cell turnover happens every 28 days, but as we age, that slows down. So it's important to visit your esthetician monthly so that you can maintain that cell turnover, and then the rest is your responsibility at home. So the sacred facial is all about connection with mind, body, soul. And so I hold space, a loving space for you to come into yourself and just relax, fully melt into the bed. And also with the sacred facial, I do aromatherapy, I do a little bit of sound healing, I do a series of cleanses and exfoliations and masks, and my favorite part and your favorite part is going to be the facial massage.
Yay! Super excited for that.
Yes, and then I'll also talk with you a little bit about your skin type and like ways that we can approach it with holistic skincare.
That sounds absolutely wonderful.
Yeah.
I was super fortunate to get to try this treatment that I'm about to show you guys right now. I can tell you it was probably one of the best facials that I've had ever. It was just incredible. The products she uses are beautiful. I actually ended up purchasing a skincare routine from her. Let me show you the clips that I can. I tried to film as much as I could, but some parts, because she has like a special unique spin on facials, we didn't film to kind of keep it like a little bit of a mystery so that you guys can experience it for yourself and it still stays sacred. Rolling into the footage, she started with a really thorough cleanse, which felt so good. I don't know how estheticians, I mean, I do know they go to school for this, but like the way they massage product into your skin is unlike any other. And then she actually took it off with a warm cloth, which felt heavenly. Once my skin was clean, then we actually went into masking. So we did 2 masks. The first one was like an enzyme mask, and she applied it to my skin and then kind of did like some special stuff, which I didn't get to film, which was just like super grounding, felt really wonderful, and was just a really great experience. And I was completely relaxed during this. Like it was just such a euphoric facial. After that, she took off the first mask. We did a second mask. She massaged kind of my arms and shoulder area and released a lot of tension, which felt super good. And then we went into the part that I was most excited about, which was some manual lymphatic drainage, facial massage, and gua sha. So I had a lot of stagnation. That's something that we found when we were doing my facial, that like my lymph nodes maybe aren't draining as well as they should be. And we talked a lot about like ways that I can help this at home. And Megan gave some really wonderful advice to me that I've definitely been taking into account and trying to implement in my life. So it was more than just a facial. It was also talking about like lifestyle changes that could really help my skin, which I was super grateful for because I think that kind of advice is really helpful. Once we were done the gua sha and lymphatic drainage, I can tell you guys my skin felt so good. It felt, the only way that I can describe it is it felt like lighter. I don't know if that makes any sense. If you guys have had lymphatic drainage or gua sha done before, you might understand what I mean. It just feels like your face is like light and pillowy and there's no tension. My jaw felt so wonderful. I have decent jaw tension. And so it felt so nice to have that done. I definitely am planning on going back to see Megan again. It was a wonderful facial and I cannot recommend her enough. I also just wanted to say in this video too that Megan is available to teach gua sha, and I actually had her over at my house with some friends and family, and we did a gua sha class and it was super fun. Even Jared did it and he felt like he got a lot out of it, and he actually ended up being pretty good at it and is still doing it now. So we're both doing gua sha together at night, which is kind of funny. That's when I actually ended up purchasing the full skincare routine that she recommended for me. It's all Laurel skincare. I will link down below what my routine is. But so far I'm really enjoying it. I've only been trying it for about a week now, so I still have a few more weeks to go before I really see any results. Otherwise, I just want to say a massive thank you to Megan for your time, your energy, your knowledge, sharing all of this with all of us. It was just such a wonderful experience. I feel like I gained so much from it, and I'm really looking forward to continuing my skincare, continuing to do the things that she told me to do to kind of better my skin. And yeah, I can't recommend her enough. So all the details will be down below. You guys have to go visit Megan. She's fantastic. Your skin will be glowing. It's a facial like none other, and I'm super excited I got to share her practice and her with you guys today. If you are new to my channel, make sure to subscribe down below for videos always featuring clean green beauty. Otherwise, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, so happy I could share all of this with you, and I will see you next week. Bye!